What's up, Virgo? Welcome to your mid-April check-in. This is a general reading. We're focused on the second half of April 2021. It's general, so take what resonates, leave the rest behind. You may get a little, you may get a lot. Check out your sun, moon, rising Venus, and midheaven. What was I doing? Sometimes my body has a mind of its own, and we have reflexes, right? Anywho, let's see what we've got in store for you, Virgo. Getting like the word condescending. Oh, why is that coming up? That was pretty cool. All right, so that's our third card. We'll see what we've got here. So we have the High Priestess in the reverse, we have the Devil, and we have the Page of Wands. All right, so Virgo, I feel like you may feel a little bit out of your depth here with this High Priestess in reverse. Also, it could just be that you're realizing your potential in some type of situation, but you're not really able to fully ground whatever it is. Maybe going right out the gate, you don't feel like you have the resources necessary because you're getting too far ahead of yourself. Just the way that this Devil is positioned between the High Priestess and the Page of Wands, there could be certain aspects of feeling like you're moving in new ways and therefore feeling ungrounded, maybe disassociating in some type of way that's keeping you from moving and allowing things to happen and unfold with you in alignment with your intuition, with how you really feel. Perhaps you're just trying to make things work because it's something new that you're embarking upon. So it's something that I feel like, is maybe hidden or obscured from view. You're not really sure what the process is here, Virgo. And so the best thing that I can say for you is like, well, when you choose to do something, what are the most nourishing aspects of it? And how can you build some type of container in order to support that, right? Because we can really do anything that we set our mind to. It's like, what is challenging for you versus what is just simply a challenge? We all have our own personal strengths and weaknesses. And then overall, there are some things that are just plain difficult to do for all of us. And I feel like right now you're just being met with the things that may be difficult for you, may have been reasons why you've, been chasing things or escaping certain things or quitting stuff before it's completely finished, like leaving when you're in the middle of stuff, right? Kind of bailing out, leaving projects unfinished. And I feel like, that's not always the Virgo that we see, right? But it's totally possible. We're all human. Just because we're a specific sign doesn't mean that we necessarily always adhere to those standards or assumptions about that sign. We have a full natal chart, right? So there are other aspects about us that aren't necessarily just related to our sun, moon, rising sign, right? So anywho, I feel like, it could be too that maybe you feel a bit reserved because there are people that you think are a little bit more charismatic, or slick talkers. It's like, oh yeah, well, they just have this personal charm about them that makes it easy. But what about me? How do I cultivate that? What do I need to do? And it's like, just be you. Again, focus on what nourishes you from in the situation, right? And ground and be embodied in that. And then with this Page of Wands here, it's like, don't think of all the woulda, coulda, shouldas before they even happen, right? Or all the woulda, coulda, shouldas that are separate from the situation. You're starting over, right? Or you're, getting a fresh start on something here. And with this Page of Wands, I feel like, sometimes you just have to take a chance on the energy of that day, right? And see where it leads you, see where it carries you. Every great unfolding has occurred, one step at a time. And so it's like, instead of continuing to look at this big picture, and to look at this giant monster of things that you're trying to put together or cultivate, or, make into a complete structure. Really figure out what it is that you can grasp. What amazing ideas do you snatch out of thin air, and how do you get to that space, Virgo? I feel like there's something about here just about adopting some type of new process, but being overwhelmed by that. Let's see what else we've got here. Oh yeah, we have the Temperance card here at the bottom. So there's something about, not wanting to slow down. I feel like maybe there's certain beliefs that you have, or things that you want to kind of speed up, but it's like, just allow yourself to experiment. Allow yourself to enjoy the pleasure of creating something. Allow yourself to find pleasure in what it is that you're doing, right? Not everything has to be so serious. Even when we act within purpose, it's it's a joy. It's a joy to be there. We don't burden ourselves by being like somber and solemn and being like, oh, well, I have to do this. It is my duty and this and that. And it's like, just take it easy. That's part of having a certain amount of charisma. It's being easy, making it seem effortless, doing stuff in your style. With the High Priestess, we have criticism. So I feel like, this could be the perfectionist coming out in you, Virgo. Then we have Status with the Devil card, and we have Caution with the Page of Wands. So criticism, status, caution. So I feel like there's something that you're thinking about doing or pursuing, but maybe it's just something that you feel like is popular, right? And I feel like maybe some of the resistance here also is that, what is the longevity here? Is this just a fad? Is this something that is only going to be here for a season? And it's like, no, you want something that's going to carry you a lot farther than that, Virgo. And I feel like maybe you're really concerned about putting yourself out there and others having a critical eye on you, especially if it's something that's only going to serve you in the long term. Why would you sacrifice yourself in that way, right? It could be a very competitive place. It could be, maybe if this is a relationship at all, maybe you feel like there are other people vying for someone's attention, right? And you feel kind of like left out and having to show up, but it's like, do you really want to exert that effort? And so again, it's about seeking your own pleasures here. But I feel like ultimately, there's something that's calling to you, but there's so much distraction and like, whether, it be the amount of people that are magnetized toward this situation or goal or this person. I feel like whatever this is, it's calling to you. And I feel like, no matter whether, by and large, it's something that's just kind of going to run its course in a short amount of time, I feel like it leads you to something that allows you to kind of live off the land in some way. You find your own types of natural resources and are provided for in the long term, and you become more resourceful in through engaging with whatever this is. But I feel like you've got to let go of what other people are doing, right? Because at the bottom of the deck we have Discovery, and I feel like part of it is you fear whatever could come about, or whatever kind of counter argument or response could be headed in your direction if you decide to make a move, if you decide to kind of, go in a specific direction or pursue a situation or person. And so it's like, you're really trying to weigh the options. You're being as optimistic as you can, but there's just something about still just being too concerned about other people, being concerned about how you're being viewed, right? Let's see here. We have the Knight of Swords, the Six of Wands, and the Ten of Pentacles. I also feel like this is about you taking the chance to maybe put yourself on the line and being able to recognize your power in redirection, right? To be able to ground something that is seemingly chaotic and overwhelming, and recognize that you do have a sense of authority about you. You can feel the fear and go for it anyways. With this Knight of Swords reversed, it's like, you don't want to come out and believe you're the authority on something by any means, or seem like you're being, impulsive and kind of like saying things off the cuff, doing things off the cuff. Then we have the Six of Wands and this Ten of Pentacles here. And it's like, but I feel like it's necessary for you to recognize the own personal satisfaction that you can gain by taking this on. You can be deliberate. You can continue to move slowly and assess the situation bit by bit. You don't have to go whole hog into it, It's like you just got to have a little bit of faith. Let's see. Yeah, and with this Ten of Pentacles, I feel like, in the long term, there are always going to be things that you don't really know that kind of come to the surface. I feel like, as long as you're able to kind of acknowledge and not play both sides, but acknowledge, all sides of something and really see the trends that are happening overall, you can form a more strategic approach in how you handle this and still find a certain amount of satisfaction. I feel like, you're at a very critical fork in the road when it comes to really being able to see yourself as an authority in some right, to be able to really recognize yourself maybe in ways which you didn't really, in categories you really didn't identify with, or perhaps taking on roles that you think were better left to others, right? And I feel like there's a need for your voice or your perspective in something. I feel like, and if this is a person, I feel like they do feel connected to you. It could just be that you're viewing the perspective from which you're viewing things, right? You're putting all of the different elements into account, but you're not putting your own perspective, your own emotions into account. What do you actually feel here besides what you're seeing? Separate yourself from what you're seeing here and allow yourself to figure out the ways in which you want to move. And don't worry about having any regrets later, because as long as you're acting in integrity, you're doing just fine, Virgo. You're doing just fine. I don't know, something about corn on the cob popped in my head, so maybe someone's eating corn on the cob or corn while they're listening to this. I have no idea. Or listening to the band. I have no but I also feel like it's very important for you to get creative with your resources here. As again, you may feel like you don't have everything in line to pursue what you want. But I feel like if you work creatively and you're resourceful, you can make it happen. I feel like you're someone who's very studious, who pays attention, who has all the facts and figures, who puts a lot of different things into account. But sometimes there's a thing as information overload or information overwhelm. And that's when you have to lean into your experience. What have you experienced, and how does that create a bridge from what you know into what you want to achieve or share or express or continue to experience, right? Or experience you want to shift into. And so I feel like it's very important for you to kind of acknowledge all of those factors. Eight of Wands here too at the bottom is like, maybe you're afraid of things changing quickly and not really being able to keep up with a certain expectation. Maybe you fear that you'd be taking on too much in some regard. Yeah, and so it's like, you'll find the solution when you get there. You'll cross that bridge when you get to it. So just, take things in stride, one step at a time. It's all good, brush your shoulders off, make sure you got your head on straight. Don't let, your environment influence you too much. Just know what you feel like is right for you, what nourishes you, and what fills you with a certain fire or passion. Don't look at someone else's paper when you still have a test to turn in, So anyways, I know that one was a bit, but there you go, Virgo. So please like, subscribe, comment. I really appreciate your time in viewing this. And I just feel like, it's important for you to not shy away from your potential, to not get too addicted to all of the things or the lay of the land, or, let appearances deceive you in any way, shape, or form. You have to be able to look at things objectively once in a while, and in order to find a more balanced way through. So anyhow, thank you so much, Virgo. Until next time.